Ahoy hoy everyone, how are we all? I don't know if anyone's here yet, or if you can hear me, or if this is working, but I am here. I think there's a little bit of delay from what I can see and what's actually happening. I suppose I should give a quick check and make sure everything's working, shouldn't I? So this is one camera, this is the workspace all set up, and then I've got this one is here. You can see me as well as seeing what I'm doing. So a little quiet. Okay, let's see if this helps. How's that? Can you hear me now? Just played with the audio a little bit. My microphone's a little bit far away actually. Let's see how close I can get it before it starts poking into the screen. Actually quite far. So, where is it? It's a little bit of a delay. I can see my hand down here, but it's not coming up on that one. A little better, thanks, Julia. Yeah, having a little bit of a technical issue already in that one of my cameras is not showing live what is actually happening. So let's give this a try. Ah, there we go. I can see it on my side now. Now that's working. So you've got a few people in here. Hi everyone. How are we all doing? Right, so let's get down to what we are doing today. So I thought, since most of you voted to have an art stream, that I would do a miniature master study. So I've got a load of miniature canvases here. So we've got some square ones, we've got some rectangular ones. These are 2.5 by 3 inches, so they are tiny. Is that right? Is it 2 by 2.5? I think it's 2 by 2.5. I've got a ruler here somewhere and I can't find it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 2 by 2.5. No, that's... Hold on, let's buy a ruler. There we go. No, they are, well, 3-ish by 2. There we go. So, for the miniature master study, that's a good tip for Liz. I didn't know that, so thanks Jules. Right, for this I've got my iPad because I thought I would let you guys all choose which miniature master study we're going to do today. So I have a few options. So there's this one by Jessica Miller, which is quite a nice one. Let me have a quick look at that one. We've also got this one by Mead Schaefer. This one here, again quite nice. Also quite good for this time of year as well, with Halloween coming up. We've also got this John Singer Sargent one, which for some reason auto-corrected to James Sargent. But there we go. We've got a John Singer Sargent. I've also got this Francis Bacon, again giving me horror vibes. I think this is one of his Pope pictures. And we've also got a couple of colourful ones. This Anders Olof Thors one, which is just gorgeous. I love those colours. And then we've got this Viola Babel here, which again, really lovely colours. So, I'm going to leave the names there so you can kind of see them, hopefully. Oh, there we go. But tell me which one you would like to see done as a miniature version. So we've got Viola Babel, Anders Olof Thors, Francis Bacon, not James Sargent, John Singer Sargent. That's lovely autocorrect there. Mead Schaefer or Jessica Miller. Whilst you do that, I of course have a lovely cup of tea. Jessica Miller. It is a really nice piece. any other votes. I know there's a little bit of a lag, but Julia says the Jessica Miller as well. We've got one for Sargent. Yeah. Oh, the Schaefer. Yes, very gothic. First one. I think it seems to be a lot of love for the first one. Well, you guys are really not making it easy for me, are you? Number one. Yeah, you guys are really making this difficult, but that's fine. That's the whole reason for doing these miniature master studies. It's about learning something new. So I have to kind of think about what I want to learn from this piece. So I think with this one, the use of colour is very interesting because we've actually got some cool shadows as well as some warm shadows, and then we've got cool and warm highlights as well. So I think this one would be based mainly on colour, so a nice colour study. So yeah, that's it, just there. Right, so in order to get this done, first thing we need to do is map it out on our canvas. So I'm just going to move my microphone over a little bit because it's casting a little bit of shadow, and maybe turn this light up. There we are. Right, so you see I have got my proportional measuring device. So I've used this on all of my miniature master studies. So leave a thumbs up in the chat if you have ever seen or used one of these before. Hopefully you have. If not, I'll quickly go through how to use one of these because they are an incredibly useful tool. And whilst you all sound off in the chat, I'm going to grab some paints from a massive box next to me. Box of paints. These are all my cheap paints, so I use these for these kind of studies, and then I've got a bunch of Liquitex over here. I've got 3 trays of these that I use for professional stuff that I sell on my Etsy store. So I've got some batteries down there charging as well in case this one runs out. How are we doing? Seen it, never used it. Yeah, it's an interesting tool. I remember when I was at school, I probably needed a pencil for this as well. We've got lots of blues in this, so I'm going to go for a blue coloured pencil. Using a coloured pencil for the sketching in this because it will be covered up quite nicely by the acrylic paint, and I'm going to be going quite lightly anyway. Right. Proportional measuring device. So when I was at school, I remember being taught this, and I remember teaching this in art as well. When you are trying to measure something up using your pencil as a gauge, so kind of holding it up and marking what you're doing. Okay, well, it's about that much, so on my paper it's going to be about that much, and doubling or tripling that amount, and doing that the same each time so you get an accurate representation of whatever is you're drawing. Proportion measuring device basically is a tool that makes that much easier and more accurate. So it has 2 ends. I'll show you down here. It has 2 ends, and I've got this set, so I've got a small end and a large end. But you can actually move this pin up and down and make it even smaller at this end and larger at this end. And this is done basically on a ratio. So however many centimeters or millimeters or inches this side opens, this side will open a proportional amount. So if this is, for instance, a 1:2, for every 1 centimetre here, this will open 2 centimetres. So you're effectively doubling what you're doing. So what I'm going to do here is, I know this scale works quite well for me. I'm going to take one of my canvases, so I think for this we'll do a rectangle. I don't think we're going to use a square one. I'll pop these ones out to the side. How are we doing so far? Is everyone keeping up? Can you hear me nice and clearly as well? So I'm going to set this to the width of the canvas on this one, and then keeping this in the same size, I'm going to come over here and set this picture in Procreate to be the same width on this end. Now I know that whatever I set this to, so for instance if I say the nose is that far there, I know that it's going to be that far on the canvas, and I get a nice proportional measure. One thing I am quickly going to do is that the height of these rarely match up. So I'm going to set this height here and see how far out we are. Not too far. So I think what I'll do here is I will use this bit at the bottom and just fill in a little bit of extra colour where we've got the shirt down here, rather than stretching anything out. So we're going to be working top to bottom with our proportions to make sure everything is in line. Okay, does that make sense for everyone? I hope so. Oh, need more tea. I was toying with putting some music on as well, but I didn't want to get a copyright strike for having music on. And do you like my t-shirt, by the way? It says closets are for clothes. So it's my Pride t-shirt that I wore at Chester Pride this year after performing with the choir. Right, this is the canvas we're going to use. So, move all these paintbrushes out of the way. There we go. Now I'm just going to go in and start basically plotting this out, measuring this out, and trying to get it transferred from here onto here in a slightly smaller size. So I'm going to think about, first of all, let's see. Let's start with the eye line. So the eye line is about there. I'm going to be as accurate as I can, but you can never get these spot on. And again, this one is more about, it's more about the colour, as I said. So there we go, follow that eye line up. That seems about right. So here, I'm going to say the eye line is roughly that direction. Now along that line, I can start measuring. So from the edge of the canvas to the pupil is that distance. Pupil to pupil is slightly more, about there. And then pupil to the edge of the canvas, hopefully this all lines up, is about there. Nice. Okay, so we've got this. So now I can measure from pupil to the middle of the nose. This is all stuff that gets cut out of the YouTube videos when we do these miniature master studies. You don't get to see me struggling over. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is a cheap Amazon find, but I absolutely love it. Yeah, this is everything that gets cut out of the YouTube video, so we kind of go over it. Can you see it, or is it? I feel like it's quite light, isn't it? Let me take this light down a bit. Hopefully you can see. There we go. Okay, can you see those marks now? Let's turn this one down a little bit as well. And maybe this one up. There. Right. I feel like that's easier to see. Is that easier to see for everyone? So now hopefully you can see these marks that I've made. So we've got the edge of the canvas to the first pupil, to the second pupil, then to the edge of the canvas with the eye line, and then we've got where the top of the nose is. So from that point I can measure from here to the bottom of the nose. So that's about there, and I can measure the width of the nose, which is about that there. And all of these points mean that I can go in afterwards and start cleaning it all up. Yes, good night, Art Adventure. See you soon. This will be up afterwards, so you'll be able to see it all afterwards. But yeah, can you guys see what I'm doing here? Do I need to zoom in a little bit? How's that? Is that a little bit clearer? I feel like these lights are not helping, are they? There we go. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that nice and clear? Have a little sip of my tea again. I keep forgetting I've got the camera on me as well so you guys can see me. Liz, Dawn, can you hear me? Is everything alright? So we've got the nose in there. Lovely. So that also, if I measure straight up, goes to the eyebrows. So you can actually, you can do something at an angle and bring it over an exactly the same angle. And then get a little mark there. Yeah, thumbs up. Brilliant, thanks guys. And then same here. So this angle, bring it over, line up that point. And then we've got that there, and that is the eyebrows. I'm going to do the insides of the eyes as well, which is here and here. I'm just going to start marking bits in now. So that's the inside. So we're going here. Go. Okay, so bit of art theory now. People have got these kind of mask shapes. So I'm going to start plotting that in. I feel like we're too far over here, but it is measuring up correctly. Trust the process and hope. So let's go from here to the ear, and that puts that, yeah, it's right on the edge, and the ear. That angle is correct, and then the ear is that long. There's a lot of similar markings when you're doing this kind of thing, like a lot of relative distances from here to here, here to here, here to here. There's a lot of same distances that come up quite a lot. Thank you. Yeah, the dreaded algorithm, huh? There we go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me nice and clear. I'm actually not wearing my hearing aids today, which is probably not the best thing to be doing. I've had a little bit of a cold from, well, just general that time of year, and then I had my flu jab, which meant that obviously because I wear hearing aids, I'm partially deaf. It went straight to my ears, and I've been having a little bit of a pain, so decided not to wear my hearing aids for a little bit. Oh, that's almost exactly where I need it, and that as well. I like it when that happens. I think this is going to be an interesting one for setting out a paint palette of colours. It's going to be very interesting, in fact. Right, so from the bottom of the nose to the mouth, so I measured it to that point there. It's that much. So from here to here, and the mouth width from the pit to the pit is that much, and slightly below because the mouth is curving up. Hopefully you can see this start to come together, and the width of the lips themselves, and not a huge amount. So to here. So yeah, a lot of you said that you had seen the proportion measuring device before, but never used one. Do you think you'll be giving it a bit of a try now? They're actually relatively cheap if you ever want to give it a try. They're not very expensive at all. They do vary in quality, but so do most things in life, I suppose. There we go. Pop in these nostrils. So I'm now going on. Yes, I've got a lot of markings in. Limited palette made this interesting. Yeah. Jules, I feel like you just want to torture me. Yes, it would be very interesting to do that, but with the colours that are actually in here, I feel like that is a suicide mission as well. No, that is right. So from here to here is here to here. Okay. It's almost directly under the eye. That's about here. It's a much steeper angle on that side. You never measure anything. Yeah, well, I think this is a really good. I mean, we should probably go over why we do these studies, or any kind of studies. Really, it's to learn, isn't it? It's so that we are we're getting out of our usual palettes and our usual shapes and trying something new. That's exactly what I'm trying to do here. So the eye, it's quite a square eye actually. So with it, this one in particular is very much about the colours, as I said. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for this one. So I'm not overly bothered about how accurate the drawing is, but it's always a good practice to try and get it as accurate as I can, because that's just going to help improve as I go on, thicken up these eyebrows a little bit. I do thoroughly recommend doing studies like this. How many of you in chat have actually done this kind of painting study where you're looking at something and observing and trying to learn something from a particular artist? Yeah. Got this on here. I'm kind of mapping in a few of the shapes now of the face itself, and where some of the more broad paint strokes are. So we've got this lovely yellow section up here that goes here, and then like this, and down the side of the head, and into this eye socket as well. This person, who was this? This is Jessica Miller. Their use of colour in depicting the forms of the face is gorgeous. I really love this. I'm kind of, yes, I'm glad this one's been picked, but also it's a difficult one. But we're gonna roll with it, and we're gonna see how we do. So if any of you have got any questions in chat, please do. Yeah, it can be a little bit intimidating, but you know, you don't. I feel like that forehead's a little bit off, like it's a little bit. No, it's just my eyes. I need to get this chin depth in. Yeah, if any of you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down below. I will happily answer them. Got quite a square chin down here, leading up to, it's actually from the mouth. So from the mouth to here and here. This goes up, down. We've got this section here and here. I feel like this beard's got so much texture in it. Am I selling the minis? I'm not selling the minis, or at least I'm not yet. I haven't put any on my Etsy store. Should we go through some of the ones that I have here? So they're all on my pinboard just here. How many have we got so far? We've got a few of these. Okay, so down here we've got this one here, which was a suggestion from a comment, so we have that there. This is the first one that we did, which is Starry Night. Really fun, but actually quite time consuming. These generally are quite quick once you get into the painting. We've got the Scream there. The girl with the pearl earring, which I keep saying the pearl with the girl earring. It's the girl with the pearl earring. This is an Adam Westerberg, which was a limited palette. So whoever it was it Art? Jules? Jules that was saying about doing a limited palette. Yeah, this was a 4-colour palette for this one. We've got the Kiss, the Klimt painting here, and then this is a Monet painting as well. Very misty. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our 8th mini master study. So yeah, maybe I'll pop them on. I think this needs to come out a little bit more. Maybe I'll pop them on the old Etsy store. We'll see how much interest there is in them. The ear comes in like this. How do we think we're doing with the drawing so far, guys? If we compare one to the other, I actually do feel like I've stretched this out a little bit. That is definitely coming out far too much on that side. Yeah, it's this line here. One of the reasons I do this in colour pencil is that, you know, there's really no turning back. Once you put those lines down, you either have to do something else or go with it. Sometimes going with it is the easier option. Yeah, so we have got a little bit extra space down here for this. So that's actually coming to a full triangle down here rather than being cut off. Oh, there we go. So from here, actually we come all the way down, and we come in and down a little bit here. This collar follows the line of the beard and comes straight down and off to the side. So yeah, I think the nose is a little bit too long, and I think the mouth is a little bit too low down, but I don't know whether that's just because I'm the angle that I'm looking at it from. Yeah, the eyes are not quite right. Let's just go in and have a little look. The October Scrawler Box Challenge. So I actually haven't filmed it yet. So the Scrawler Box videos, I film those the day that I get the box. So as soon as it comes in, I literally film it, edit it and put it up. So all within the space of about 40 minutes, and then however long it takes to... Oh, throw my pencil. However long it takes to actually upload to YouTube. But the actual challenge ones, I try to schedule them in, and then things come and go, and they tend to be a little bit all over the place. I haven't decided what I'm doing with this one. What was the things with wings, isn't it? The challenge for this time. Let me have a look. Yeah, things with wings. So I've got some ideas. I think actually that's quite a broad category, so it would be nice to... Yeah, good luck with the markers. It'll be nice to play with those. Yes, the markers. So actually, I was going to leave this until the actual Scrawler Challenge video, but I have been doing a little bit of research, and you can actually get the markers for about $21.99 if you're in the UK. But actually in the States and in New Zealand, you can get them for about $16, maybe even less than that sometimes. So they're quite cheap on Amazon.com for that exact set, the ones that are the pastel colours. So if you're in the UK, yes, it's a very good deal to buy the Scrawler box because you're getting those markers cheap. However, outside of the UK, don't think it is as much of a deal, but I think that might be because the company Marabou are an American company as well, so it's always going to be a little bit cheaper getting American things in America. So I think the eyebrows are a little bit too... There we go. I need to bring those down a bit. I think that helps. So I think I have extended the forehead a little bit, and extended down the bottom a little bit as well, and then that's okay. That's looking better. Let's get some of these dark patches in as well. Maybe that will help. So yeah, what do you guys think of the latest Scrawler box? You know, I've been very vocal in my views on Scrawler box and the things that they have done and haven't done, and the price rises and all that kind of thing. So I'd be interested to know what you guys think. But I think as far as we are with this, I think I'm done with the reference. So, well, at least the reference in terms of sketching things out. So I'm going to pop this over to the side where I can still see it, because I want to reference those colours. My desk, honestly, you're seeing a small section here. Off to the edges, I've got water bottles, I've got milliput and beads and 3D prints on my desk and all sorts, and just bits everywhere. It's not as neat as I make it out to be in here. I can be a little bit chaotic when I'm actually working on stuff, and I've been working on a lot. Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested the markers out too much yet, Gabby, so we'll see what it looks like, but the paper, definitely a wrong choice. Definitely not the paper that was needed for those markers. It's just wrong. It just doesn't work. Right, I've got my cheap paints. I'm going to go through and have a look and see what colours I think we need. Oh, got a lovely pink there. That'll work. Need a yellow. Quite bright. Let's go for a mid-yellow mixed with some white. I've got a big white there. And I've got a black there as well. I don't think I need to use black in this one. I do need some blues. So, primary cyan, yes. I need something lighter as well. Don't mind me while I'm just rummaging around in here. Yeah, it did get expensive, but you know, give them a go on another surface. I think the paper definitely was just not right at all. So we've got pink, we've got white, we've got yellow. I need like an ochre. What have I got here? Yellow ochre. There we go. I think that's what I need. I need something more green, something like a viridian. I suppose I could mix it up. I won't if I don't have to. You're too green. You're even greener. Yeah, you're quite green as well. Let's try and mix something up. Oh, right. Okay, so these are colours that I've got, and I'll just show you how much paint these paintings actually use. So, pink. There we go. Yellow. Oh, we've got quite a lot of yellow in here, so there we go. Okay. Yeah, these paintings really take up very, very little paint at all. They're really economical for what you get out of them. Organised chaos, yeah. yeah, that 5 minutes is a lovely time when everything's nice and you're not not scrabbling around to find what you actually need. There we go. Got actually we're gonna need. I still think that's too much as well. Let's some of this dark one. And some white. So this actually is quite a lot of paint for such a small painting. I'm definitely going overboard here, but I know I'm going to be mixing, and I tend to be a little bit heavy-handed when I'm mixing, so preparing myself for that. Nearly finished this cup of tea. It's terrible. And it's dead. I think I'm going to have to ask Andrew to make me another cup. Right, so paintbrushes. Let's just go through these quickly. So I have a little bit of water off to the side as well. Pop that just there. You'll see that go really, really, really dirty. Do I have tissues up here? I do. So these paintbrushes are really, really cheap. So there's a shop in the UK called The Works, and they have their own branded art supplies. Actually, you'll see that there, The Works. So these paints, it was a pack of 18 of these tubes, I want to say, and that cost me £4. And these paintbrushes, so let's just separate these out. Yeah, so those paintbrushes there were £1.50. Then these ones with the slightly chunkier handles, here, these three, were £1. And then I've got some here, Majors brushes that came in a scrawler box. That came in a scrawler box as well. What's that one? Yeah, just a round brush. And this one is a Royal Crafter's Choice, which I've had for years and years and years. How do I find the Crawford and Black paint? Well, if it is for, so that's these ones here, the Works ones, the Crawford and Blacks. If it's for something like this, absolutely fine. But if I'm working on something that I'm selling, I don't have anything in the office at the moment. I've been working on. I've just finished a lovely round canvas with a neon background and a nice detailed painting of a bumblebee on it. For those, because they're being sold, I would not use Crawford and Blacks on them just because of the light fastness. I've tried to find out if they're light fast or not, and I can't find any information. Whereas the Liquitex paints, even the basic ones, are light fast. So I mean, that's quite a good tip actually. If you want light fast paint but don't want to pay an absolute fortune, the Liquitex basics are pretty good. Right, I suppose I should get cracking on some of this colour. I think, do I need a bit more light? Just so I can see what I'm doing. We can see what's on the canvas now. Yeah, so I hope that answered your question, Jules. They're okay paints for what they are, but I wouldn't use them in professional work. The Pabio ones, these are the ones that you get in what's it called, Hobbycraft. They're pretty good as well. Again, with my whites and blacks, I usually have big Liquitex basics because they're, again, really, really nice paints. They do have a nice body, the Works ones, the Crawfords and Blacks, so for that they're really nice as well. Right, where are we going to start with this? I feel like if I mix a little bit of this, actually that paintbrush is tiny. Let's go for this one. I think I'm just going to start by getting something on the canvas, so some yellow and some ochre. And hold that up to the canvas, to the iPad at the side. I think you need a little bit more ochre. Hopefully you'll see this go. So these Dawn, these are just pretty basic fine brushes. As I said, I got these really, really cheap. They're synthetic bristles. They're just kind of detailing brushes for acrylics, as opposed to something like this, which is the same, just bigger. I mean, these are both filberts, so that's a standard filbert. That's a size 6 Winsor & Newton, and this is a 12/0, whatever that measurement is. So yeah, they're both filbert brushes. It's just changing the scale that you're working on. I think when you're working this small, you're less precious about what you're doing. Like I don't really mind if I make a mistake because I'm learning from this process. I need more yellow ochre on this. And this painting in particular is unlike anything I've done before. I really don't work with colours in these ways. But hopefully, after doing this study, I might. Because there might be something in here. They're synthetic ones. So they're nylon bristles. But yeah, hopefully I'll take away from this just being a little bit more adventurous with colour. I know that if any of you follow the channel, I've done some things with Taryn at Conjure Crafts, and they are an amazing crafter, and I really like what they do with their work, but they have kind of got this ethos at the moment of no boring colours. So everything's neons, which is why I experimented with neons with that the bee painting that I did recently, and actually really liked it. I really enjoyed it. So there we go. We're breaking in straight away. We've got some colour on the canvas. Now it's just a case of going around and filling it in and learning as we go. So I'm going to go, let's go for the white and yellow here. I need more white. So this is for the forehead. Wow. Let's try that again. That's what I mean about my paint mixing. It's not something I enjoy doing. I don't enjoy mixing paint and mixing colours, just because it can be a little bit laborious, I suppose. But if I'm working on colour matching, I suppose I really should give it a go. I need something a little bit darker, just around here. I'm not too worried about all of the brush strokes on this, because the original, if I show you, it's very brush mark heavy, so I'm going to be simplifying those shapes a little bit. One more day of Inktober. How many of you are doing Inktober? I opted out this year just because I have started a new job, which, I mean, that's a whole story in itself, which I'll happily tell you about if you're interested. But yeah, I decided to opt out this year because I didn't feel like I had the time or the mental capacity to devote to it. I've done it for quite a few years, and yeah, I just wasn't feeling it this year. There we go. That's definitely a colour that I need down here. So on the lip, it's kind of pinky yellow. If any of you are doing Inktober, how are you enjoying it this year? What have the prompts been like? The prompts sometimes can be very all over the place. Last year I thought they were very all over the place. So yeah, be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that. This is weird for me. I'm usually just talking to myself when I'm painting, so actually talking to you guys is a little bit odd. Family emergencies. I was doing so well. Well, you know. Yeah, that's the thing with these challenges. So, for those of you that do follow the channel, hopefully you've seen my videos. Probably one of my first videos where I talk about my health and kind of what I've been through over the last decade. But yeah, I was actually in a motorbike accident, 2009. And have a brain injury as a result. Like, that's something I will always carry with me. I will always have that brain injury. That's never going to go away. So I, at one point, I was in a wheelchair. I was actually in a wheelchair for 7.5 years, and I spent that time to paint and reconnect with art and kind of use it as a self therapy, which was great. It worked for me. It was really therapeutic. But I got into this habit of doing art challenges, and I actually ended up doing nearly 2 years of back-to-back monthly art challenges. So starting with Mermaid and what's next? What was it in June? Kaijun, something like that, and just carried on. And I did nearly 2 years of it. And whilst I learned a lot from doing it, and it was fun at the time, I really burnt myself out, like really burnt myself out, and I realised that actually I was using it as a bit of a crutch rather than something to help me. So I stopped, and now I'm very careful with art challenges on what I take on, and I make sure that I'm mentally and physically well enough to do it. And it just goes to show with Ian, how you doing, Imp? Yeah, it just goes to show with all of these kinds of things that, you know, you have to look after yourself, and there's a few of you there saying that you've had health things going on, and if that's the case, then bow out. You know, you don't have to do your challenge just because everyone else is. Do it because you want to, and if it's going to cause you too much stress, then don't. Okay, I think we're kind of getting there. I think we need, actually I'm going to put in this lip, which I think needs a little bit of yellow as well. Yeah, just here. I think I'm going to have to come back and adjust some of these colours afterwards, but at least I'm getting good base down. So for those of you that are just joining us, this is the painting that we're recreating on this tiny canvas. So the aspect ratio is slightly off, but we're making it work. Okay, let's get some blues and greens in. So we've actually got more green and blue. What do we have in our paint bucket down here? No, you're way too light. No. Ooh, what are you? Viridian. I said I was looking for Viridian. Some Viridian, some blue, and some white might give us what we're looking for. Oh, good to hear it. Haven't spoken to you for ages. We should catch up very soon. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. More of that. Nice. Right. And we'll get some white in there as well. So white, interestingly, it does change the colour. If anyone here does crafts and crafting, then white is actually a very good colour for laying down as a base. If you're going over a darker colour, if this was a black canvas, I'd mix in a little bit of white so that it gives the paint a little bit of opacity so that you can see actually what's going on. Let's come some of this background. That's not bad. Yeah, it's not a bad colour. Usually I feel like I'd be flying through this, but from chatting as well. Takes a little bit more time. Yes, definitely sometime soon. The delay is real. Ian, I don't know how you used to do this so regularly. So again, if any of you have got any questions, feel free to ask them as we go. Fix that face shape a little bit there as well now. So interestingly, we've kind of got this as an undercolour as well. So I'm going to take a little bit over here and give it a little bit of a wash to some areas. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, perfectionism and art can go one of two ways. They either make you a very, very good realist artist where you're doing everything hyper detailed, or it will drive you mad. I'm definitely the kind of person that it drives me mad, so I tend to not worry so much about the details these days. I suppose it's just part of growing, isn't it? More of these lives in the future. Yeah, well, I intend to. This is just a trial. But I definitely will do more in the future if people want them. I was thinking kind of scheduling in maybe once a month, like the last Sunday of the month maybe. But what do you guys think? Do you want them more regularly than that, or does that sound good? Or both, yeah. I'm assuming that was in response to to the comments about details in art and not to the schedule. There we go. Now that we've got this in, I feel like some of those warmer tones, the pinks, are starting to pop a little bit more. And again, that will help with some of the lighter tones as well. And some of the blues when they start coming in. This is an interesting one. is really interesting. Like I said, this is not an artist that I know, and it's not really my style either. Actually, here's an interesting question. How many of you think you have an art style? Because there are definitely things about my art that I find recognisable, but I really don't think I have an art style per se. I just do what I like. Yes, yeah, high perfectionism, madness, or both. Well, I mean, Imp, I know you. I know that you're definitely both. I'm trying to get this warm pinky colour. We've got kind of a very bright. That's not quite what I want. And I need an orange, I think. A tiny amount. See, I am learning. I'm learning a little bit about cheap comic book style, Madness Prime. Yeah, I am learning. I'm learning a little bit about colour as we do this, which is yeah, there we go. It's also really hard to judge colour against a screen because a screen is backlit, and then the colours that I've got here are not. So that's an interesting challenge as well. There we go. Right. Got this here. So Andrew and I recently celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary. 8 years married. It's hard to believe sometimes. Sometimes it feels like no time at all, and other days it feels like an eternity. Don't tell him I said that; he will actually kill me. But yeah, that means that come the new year, we hopefully will be starting to go through the process of adoption, which is something we've been wanting to do and planning for a very long time, and I'm very excited about. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, I feel very old. Some days I feel very old, some days I feel very young, but right now I feel very old. We both have our birthdays in January as well, literally 5 days apart. So I'm in the last year of my 30s. Come January, I'll be 39, which, whew, yeah. Give it another year and I'll be locking myself in the bathroom and crying the day of my birthday, I'm sure. I had an aunt that did that. She absolutely just could not cope with the idea of turning 40 and locked herself in the bathroom and cried and cried and cried. I mean, it was hilarious. Yeah, mini frog faces, yeah. There we go. I feel like this is coming together. What do we think so far, guys? It's hard to see when it's... There we go. Also got the underside of the nose. Oh, I've watered that down too much. Let's try that again. It's a little bit more blue, so we've got the one side of the nose, this bit here, and then similar on the other side as well. I feel like we're getting a little bit of contrast now that we've got the the blues coming in as well. Yes, definitely catch up very soon. Thanks for dropping by. I'll send you a message on Discord or somewhere very soon. Joni, do mostly kawaii. I've got a cousin that loves kawaii art. It's one of those things I've never really delved into. I've done some kind of Dragon Balls when I was younger. In a kawaii style. But yeah, it's not really something that's ever stuck with me. What is it about kawaii that kind of speaks to you, that's drawn you in? Why is that your go-to? I'm always interested to find out people's kind of journeys with art and what brought them to different mediums and different styles. I feel like we need a slightly darker green now. So we've got this here, but it also needs a bit of blue, I think. This light one. Yeah, looks good. So I've told you that paint mixing is something I'm not particularly fond of. What are the things in your art styles and your mediums that you wish you didn't have to do, or that you're not majorly fans of? For me, it's definitely this. Whereas sketching, I absolutely love sketching. I could spend hours, and I have spent hours and hours and hours sketching, particularly if it's somewhere like the zoo, where there's just always interesting things happening. The zoo actually is one of my favourite places in the world. Would happily, God, if I could work in a zoo and make art in a zoo, that would be a dream. Portraiture, humans and animals. Yeah, love animals. Yes, yeah. I must say, Jules, I'm the same. Bone structure is. I mean, it's the underlying thing that ties all of those things, all of the bits that you're drawing together. And I do have a couple of sketchbooks that are just for studying bones and studying skulls. There we go. A little bit darker. There we are. And we're getting there. So interestingly, I think I'm almost getting to a point where this brush now is too big. I'm going to have to start going a little bit smaller, which is always an interesting prospect when you're working so small, that actually now you need to go even smaller because the details are getting smaller. I can put this in down here. On this side as well. Residential artists at Marwell Zoo. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. Where is Marwell, Jules? Where's Marwell? I feel like I could Google it, but I'm just being lazy because you're here, so I may as well ask you. Yeah. I live not too far from Chester, on the Near Winchester. Okay. Yeah, I live not too far from Chester, so I have a pass to Chester Zoo, which is the third best zoo in the country. In the world, sorry. So yeah, I've been to the second as well, which is the Vienna Zoo, which again is amazing. Oh, good. So you get so happy when you draw kawaii. That's probably why you like doing it. Absolutely. If it's something that you enjoy and it brings you pleasure, then what more reason do you need to be doing art than that, honestly? Okay, right, we are in tiny detail territory now, so I might start coming in a little bit closer. I need a yellowy green, so I've got this, and maybe a touch of this. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh yes, oh, getting some nice colours going now. Right, so we've got this little section under here. We've also got this same colour over under the eyebrow here. And then we've got a slightly bluer version of this. So I'm going to take a little bit of tiny dot of blue. There we go. Got that. That's a little bit too warm. I think it needs cooling down a bit. There we go. Lovely. So we've got this one. Just touch up that there. Also got this. Here, and I think that's all of it. A little bit more of a white with a dot of yellow just for up here. So I also feel like this one that a lot of the expression is in the eyes. So actually most of it, if you covered up the eyes, then it's lots of bits of paint. So I'm hoping that once we start getting the very small details in, then it's really going to start bringing this together even more so. Definitely need to go a bit darker. Maybe I do need a tiny bit of black. Oh, well, I've got a tiny bit of black on my thumb. There we go. Now it's on the canvas. Because I feel like the blue here needs to be... You have to be so careful with black. It is such an overpowering colour. Like it will just eat up anything that is put into it. Unlike white, which white, anything that goes into it, it eats up the white. They really are polar opposites, not just in terms of value, but in how they behave as paint as well. There we go. Okay. My phone is buzzing away in my pocket. Hopefully it's not Andrew telling me that I need to do something. Here, tiny. I always get worried when we start putting details in because it can go wrong so easily. Okay, I think I might try and put eyebrows in as well. This paint, I've really watered this out now. I'm going to have to go over this. That's another thing you have to worry about with these, is that it's very easy to be heavy-handed with the water as well. But you know, you get used to it, I suppose. A little bit in here. Let's see. Who's your favourite artist and why? Mixing through primaries makes it look black. Yeah, although I usually find with I'll come back to the favourite artist bit. I usually find with colours, if I'm mixing them to make a black, I will just take one colour and use its opposite, and that usually does enough. And it depends on the values of the colours that you're mixing as well, if they're particularly light. But blue is always a good one to use, and raw umber as well. So raw umber with a little bit of blue in it is a very good black, or a black tone rather, without actually being black. Favourite artist? Ooh, that is difficult. I'm a huge fan of the artist J.C. Leyendecker. I think he was ahead of his time in terms of his shape language. If you look at some of his work, then you've got very organic shapes that are literally straights and curves next to each other. And, you know, he was one of the fathers of modern advertising as we know it, created a lot of characters that are synonymous with the decade that he was kind of most prolific, so within the 30s. And also, interestingly, so he was gay at a time that obviously wasn't acceptable to be gay. His speculated partner was the inspiration for the Arrow Collar Man. And the Arrow Collar Man, which was a big advertising campaign at the time, the Arrow Collar Man himself was the inspiration for the original design of Superman. So it's a weird bit of kind of queer history that a gay artist and his partner were the inspiration for the look of one of the most renowned superheroes in the world. So yeah, I like that little bit of history. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to look at J.C. Leyendecker's work, then do, because it is amazing. Absolutely stunning. Right, what am I missing? Pink and purple. There we go. So one side that's more towards the pink, one side that's more towards the purple. That's too purple. Get a bit of pink in there. There we are. And again, that needs more pink. In fact, I think what this needs is red. I think it needs red. Or maybe a little bit of orange. No, it needs red. Yeah, any other questions, guys, feel free to chuck them my way. It's actually quite nice to chat whilst I'm doing this, rather than just be sat here by myself, which is what I would usually be doing, and then voice over afterwards. Although you don't get the pleasure of Tinkerbell in the office today. She can be a little bit too distracting, unfortunately. And she has a tendency, when I'm doing anything like this, just to walk across the desk. So Tinkerbell's my cat, for those of you that don't know. Usually she's a black and white cat, but she does, as I say, wander across my desk quite often, which means that she often is less black and white than she probably should be. I feel like these pinks are a little bit muddy, so I might have to go back to the drawing board with some of these. I just want to get this shape in here and here. What am I going to do? This needs to come up higher on this side here. There we go. And I've got a little bit of pink in here as well. Right, okay. Back to the drawing board with these pinks. Let's start again. Oh, we've had 38 views in here today whilst we've been live, which is very nice. There we go. Technical difficulties. Battery pack. Exactly why I have spares. Not that one. Terrible. That one. Yeah. Yep. It is frozen. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay. Can we see that again now? Hopefully that's all come on. I can see myself in the delay. Whilst we're doing that, I'll get to mixing a new pink. But yeah, there we go. Lovely. Just a flat battery. That's good to know. A little over an hour in one of these batteries. I do need to get just a plug-in pack so that I'm not worrying about batteries at all. All good. Excellent. When am I singing again? I have a lovely voice. So actually, I sing all the time. Andrew and I are members of the Proud Marys, which is Chester's LGBT choir. That's much closer to what I need. So we actually are at rehearsal once a week, and we do performances quite regularly. So recently we had the pleasure of singing in Chester Cathedral for a diversity sermon, which I'm not a religious person. I was raised Christian, but I'm not a practicing Christian by any means. In fact, I'm a practicing pagan. But it was really lovely to go to a service and actually be inspired by what the people were saying from the pulpit. It was really, really lovely. But we sang, what did we sing that day? We have a lovely rendition of You'll Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen. So our choir master, I'll have to stop myself calling the choir master every time, but our choir master, Matt Baker, is a fantastic musical arranger as well as just being genuinely a very nice guy. He's kind of Mr. Chester. He does quite a few the acoustics in Chester Cathedral are absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, it was a very, very nice day. So we did that song. We're currently working on Carol of the Bells for Christmas, which is fun. But they are also putting on the Chester Mystery Plays soon. So the Chester Mystery Plays are a set of plays based on the Bible. They're the Bible stories, but they're from a time before they'd kind of been translated into English and people didn't really know what the stories meant. And I would have loved to have volunteered as an actor because that's what I did before my accent and everything. I was a professional musical theatre actor. But instead, I've volunteered to work in the props department and costumes. So I'm going to be making costumes and doing props for the show, which I'm really looking forward to. I put out a post recently saying, would you guys like to see more kind of prop and costume stuff, because I really, really enjoy doing that. It's just a little thing for me, doing that kind of thing. I'm actually, let me grab this from over here. So this is a recent 3D print that I've made, and then I've painted and weathered. So any Skyrim fans will know this is a Dragon Priest mask. So that was really fun. I liked the weathering. Actually, let's change camera for a second. There we go. So yeah, that's my Dragon Priest mask, which I really enjoyed making. Was really, really fun. I'll go back to this one now. And I'm currently making some Mandalorian stuff as well, because I'm going to my first Comic-Con in December with my cousin and with Andrew, and yeah, we're doing a bit of Mandalorian cosplay. Yeah, the 3D printer will definitely be busy. And I've also got a Grogu, a Baby Yoda, that I'm going to be it's a cheap one that I'm going to be making look less cheap. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely stay tuned, because that is all to come. I'm going to take a little bit of this blue here and just, oh, you're very wet. Let's get a bit that's not so wet. There we are. Trying to get a bit more of this fine detail. This nose at the moment is a little bit wide, and I just want to bring it in a little bit. There we are. Much better. Noses are the bane of my life. Whew. That's my artistic Achilles heel. What's your guys' thing about faces that you really dislike? It's definitely noses for me. There we go, that's better. I need a little bit more light on the end of the nose. There we are, a little bit in here. Cool. Actually need a little bit of green in that nose. There we go, just to separate that out a little bit, and some down here. I think this is going well so far. I need a little bit more darkness and some... I need something that's really saturated that's going to pop. Do I have? Yeah, there we go. This is what I need. Neon. So this is Data Rowney neon paint. That is definitely what this is missing, but I'm going to leave that till the end. I want to get some of this beard structure in now. So that's this colour and white. So I'm going to take some white. I'm going to take some of this. Got a very light version of this colour first. All of that lovely textured beard work. Hands and feet are the bane. Faces find relatively easy. Yeah, so I think some people faces come easily, some people not so. I don't find hands too difficult. Faces. Noses are triangles and 3 circles. Yeah, I mean they definitely can be seen in that way. But I think I've over-studied. So I think because of all of the kind of studying of the structure beneath, that's where I kind of trip up, because I want to get it all correct anatomically, which, oh, once you start down that route, yeah. Let's get some, I feel like I need some variation in this paint to get some of those streaky bits in. But yeah, to answer, sorry, I'm circling back to the question from earlier about singing. I haven't got any plans to do any more singing for YouTube, but I mean, I suppose if it's requested, I can whip out a song or two. I'm not gonna sing right now because that would get a copyright strike, and I don't want that on my very first stream. But yeah, let me know if that's something you want, and sure, I'll consider doing some singing. Gee, there is something I really want to do. It's been bugging me that I haven't done it for quite a while. It's the Grace Kelly challenge. You know, the Mika song Grace Kelly. It's the one where it has all of the challenges where you've got all the different harmonies, and everyone's singing. That you kind of layer up all of the sections. So maybe that's somewhere to be done. Maybe. Yeah, anatomy is good, and artistic license is definitely important. I think it depends on what really you're looking to do with art. I'm constantly exploring. I'm constantly doing different things and finding new ways of experimenting with colours and shapes and values, and that's again what these little studies are good for, because you can choose to take out of it whatever you want to. And with this one, as I said, it's definitely the colours and how they work together, and the fact that it doesn't matter what what hue I'm using. There's light and there's dark within those. I need a little bit of this dark. Again, too much water. Let's try a different brush. There we go. Right. Ooh. To hold my breath at these bits so I don't ruin it. There we go. Let's get some of these dark bits in. There we are. And on this side, and down here. Lovely. Right, so we still need a little bit of light in that beard. A few light bits over here to do. Right. Neon pink. That's almost exactly the colour that I need already. You notice as well, I'm a really messy painter and I don't really clean out my paint water. I just kind of, I let it sit there. It's only when I've been doing it for a few hours that I suddenly realise, oh, I should probably clean that. And I'm a recent convert to neon paint. As I say, from Terran at Conjure Crafts, experimenting with neons, I've been much happier to just wade in and give it a go. And actually, it really does pick up the values of whatever you're doing. The bee that I recently did, I did the whole underpainting in kind of pinky, purpley neons, and it turned out rather nice. I actually really enjoyed it. I've got a little bit in here. I think, yeah, we need some mixed into this here. Oh, of course, we've got some neon down here as well. Or neon pink. So this blue here should be a little bit darker, so that's a little bit of a wash. There we go. Cool that off, and then over on the side should also be a little bit darker. Pushing and pulling the values. It's fun working at this scale. Yeah, I know, one for clean, one for dirty. I've actually got like trays that are separated into a clean, a dirty, and a use water, like a 3-tray thing. And I end up just storing paintbrushes in them and not actually using them the way they're supposed to be used. I think this is really coming together. There's a few more little details that I need to do, a little bit more lightness, and then the details of the eyes and the beard, and then I think we're pretty much going to be done. What I am going to do... that's what I was going to say. So, these canvases are tiny, but I have got these ones. Again, these are Crawford and Black. These are 5 by 7 inches. So I was considering doing some miniature master studies, but not as miniature. So like these are super miniature, but just doing... I mean, they're a little bit smaller than A5, really, 5 by 7, but doing some studies of maybe some large paintings in a small way. We've been going for an hour and a half so far, which for me, for a painting like this, is actually quite a long time. I tend to work quite quickly, but then I'm not usually chatting away whilst I'm doing it. So I blame Jules for that. No, I'm joking. It's great to have you guys here and chatting away with me. But yeah, definitely tell me how regularly you think I should be doing these. Is it something you'd be interested in seeing kind of once a month or a little bit more regularly? Right, so now I need more white down here. Lovely. Viridian and white with a touch of this blue here. which is cerulean. Gives a really nice spearminty colour. Okay. There we go. That's those paint strokes that we need. And again on this side. And down there, here and here. Lovely. White and some neon. There we go. Touch of yellow. Nice, that's a nice bright colour. Your eyes would suffer. Liquid watercolour paint in tubes. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got each of these drawers is filled with a different type of paint, but yeah, I've got some liquid watercolours here that I really like. I've got these Artistro watercolours as well, which I really enjoy using. I've really got into recently with some of my larger paintings, doing under sketches in charcoal, which I know some people are a little bit scared of using charcoals, but doing drawings in charcoal and then sealing all of that and then glazing over the top with colour, so that's been fun to experiment with as well, and something I highly recommend giving a try if you haven't already. Ooh, nice. Again, we're getting into muddy colour territory, so I'm trying not to work it as much, but there we go. Right, a little bit of, so easy to get these paints over saturated with water. There we are. Tiny bit in here just to lift that. Okay, right. Yeah, you guys really have. It is very forgiving as a medium, charcoals. Oh, that's all right, Barbara. That's fine. We're just doing a mini master study, so we're using this picture here and putting it on this canvas. So there's something off about this. I'm trying to. I know what it is. It's that nose. That nose is what is off. It's been bugging me for a few minutes, and I've just worked it out. So it's not straight, or it's straight, but it's not straight according to the painting. Right. So yeah, Barbara, we were just chatting about different mediums and what we like to use and stuff. And I was just saying about doing charcoals. There we go. That's what it needed. That also means I just need to shift things a tiny bit here. So with that section. Great. Right, there's a little bit more lightness that's missing at the bottom of the nose. Would. Nope. That would. Take a tiny dot of this neon. There we go. and then it's there, and there. I feel like we've lost the nostrils, but they're so dark. We're about to go in for some details. So, oh, thanks, Gabby. I suppose seeing it in person, I'm a little bit more sensitive to the bits that are there, and I'm not. I think the mouth needs a tiny bit of work. It's not quite wide enough, and then we need to do obviously the eyes. But we're nearly there. Right, I'm going to choose this. I'm going to take a little bit of this, which is very watered down primary cyan. I'm going to mark in where the eyes are, and that's way too wet. And we're missing a bit in the under eye area, so it's this. And some on this side as well. The eyes have got an odd shape to them. There we are. Maybe we should try a little bit of line work first then. Oh, I'm reluctant to just use black, but it's so easy. No. Let's be good. Let's mix some black and blue together. What's my favourite medium substrate to work on? Acrylic is my favourite medium, without a doubt. I used to use oils occasionally, and I enjoy using oils, but because I'm asthmatic, I don't do well with the solvents. So I haven't used oils in about 20 years. Something I'd love to do, and in fact, I bought these about a year ago and still haven't got to use them. These are water-soluble oil colours. So they're the Royal Talons Cobra brand, and I really want to give them a try. I've just been a little bit reluctant to do that at the moment, but because they're water-soluble, it means that I don't have to use any of the solvents, and hopefully wouldn't have any adverse effects and breathing issues, which this time of year is always nice to to try and avoid. So we've gone too wet here again. I think I haven't got my hairdryer up here. It's actually downstairs at the moment, but that's what I would usually use to dry between sections. Although honestly, these mini master studies, they're so quick, usually anyway. I'm not chatting away. They're usually so quick that you really don't need the hairdryer. Like, they will dry pretty quickly. Yeah, we're just going to try and loosely plonk it in, and then I think I'll come back for that. The eye's not quite where I want it. We've got a little bit at the top as well, so follow this line here and here and here. Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that there's not much difference between oils and water-soluble oils. That gives me a little bit of hope. And yes, you're right, George, you can go plein air with oils, but actually with enough prep, I think you can go plein air with most materials. I've gone plein air with watercolours and acrylics and even markers and stuff. It's really down to, you know, the time spent preparing first and what you're willing to carry with you. As I say, I love painting at the zoo, and I've done that a few times. So of course that's plein air, and you always draw a bit of a crowd at zoos as well when you're sitting there painting animals. But occasionally you will meet a fellow artist who's also there painting animals like a weirdo, and you get to know them and make friends. So I would always encourage people to do a bit of outdoor painting and just to experience it, if nothing else. Okay, this is looking better. So I'm going to put a little bit of whiteness in the old eye bulb. So just in here, and this might clean up the colour a little bit in the shape. Dot, and then same over this side. Okay, that's looking better. I think we're probably about there. The face over here is a little bit wider, but it's also got a little bit of this what is it? This colour, a little bit of darkness kind of spilling off canvas, and same a little bit down here, a little bit around the ear. I'm not too worried about these details because I've done, I think, what I set out to do, which was to study the colour theory and the way it's been laid on the old canvas. But yeah, what do you guys think? Barbara, have you really only been learning for a year and a half? That doesn't seem like very much time. Could put a little bit of green in here to break this up, so it's not all too homogeneous. Yeah, I think we're done, guys. So just let me clear this stuff away, and we'll do a little side by side. Let me just. Need a bit of darkness down there as well. There's always something when you go back, like, oh, hold on, I just need to quickly do this, and then I just need to quickly do this, and then I just need to quickly do this. That's the way of the art world, I suppose. Yeah, there's this little shadow under the chin, so I just want to pop that in as well. Lovely. Right. So let's get these paints out of the way. These can all go back in the bucket. This can go over here, and the black and the white live on my desk. Water out of the way. See, I told you I wouldn't need nearly as much paint as I put on that palette. I'll have to whip something else up quickly. Ooh, right, paintbrushes, give those a good clean. But here we are. So that is the piece that we started out with, and that is the mini study next to it. So it's not perfect, but it will do. It's definitely a little bit more stretched out. But yeah, what do you guys think? Oh, that was my first live stream, and it's done. I think we're just about finished. So thank you all for joining me. I've really enjoyed having you all here. Hopefully I haven't been too distracted between painting and talking to you guys. This will go up on the board with the rest of the mini master studies. See, looking at them side by side like this, I'm going, okay, well, I just need to touch this and I just need to touch this. But again, we've got a digital screen, so the lights are so much lighter and the darks are so much darker. But hey, here's what it is. Right, let's go back to here. Here we are. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. It's the way you see it. Yeah, exactly. It is the way you see it is. And actually, for me, I will always say, oh, well, actually, there's this that I need to change, or there's that I need to change. And I think that's actually a really important thing in art, to be able to say, you know what, next time I'm going to do this differently, or next time I'm going to try that, or I won't do this, and constantly learning, constantly evolving. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everyone who's joined today. It's been lovely chatting to you all in real time. Thank you. Yeah, as well, I'll end the way I end all of my videos. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's stream, and